I'm live. And so I'm going live just because, like, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. Um, I've been waiting for Ron to message me his email. And I think I misunderstood. I thought, when I went back in my messages, it said that, that I was just assuming it was regular time. And then I read, "Hi, Tom. Miss you." Um, then I went back in my messages and I read that he works till 8 o'clock. So I was like, oh shit. So then I tried to go onto Facebook. I've tried to change this event so many times because if you do look at the actual event, it started like 2 weeks ago. And so we're supposed to be live. Yeah. Isn't that bad? I think, I'm not sure. I'm explaining the story. So I went back and I read my messages. So I tried to edit this show like 50 times, and Facebook won't let me do that, nor will they let me invite more than 50 people. So they were like, whatever. So I, updated the time in the post, but I haven't heard from him yet. Hi, Anthony. How are you? Nice to see you on here. Thank you. So I'm hoping that, because I read it that he gets done work at 8 o'clock. So I'm hoping that, he's going to go home and kind of maybe see my messages. I don't know. So I apologize. I think this is the second time this has happened to me. Hi, Troy. I think it's the second time it's happened to me. Probably like in 2 months. So I apologize. I unfortunately don't really know anything about Bigfoot. So, which is why I wanted to have him on, or somebody that has knowledge of Bigfoot. Hi, Greg. Bigfoot research, or investigating and stuff like that. I would love to talk about it because it's something that we normally don't talk about. Hi, Mike. Hi, Alita. I hope I'm saying that right. I know I always mess it up. Hi, Craig. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm so sorry that my guest is not on here yet. Kind of stinks, but I'm trying to like make jokes in my head while I'm sitting here, and I'm like, oh, I was like, he's like Bigfoot. He's like, maybe he doesn't really exist. I don't know. His name is Daryl. Hello, my friend. Daryl. I don't know who Daryl is. Sorry. I did say it right. Okay, good. So yeah. My only other option would be if Tom is still watching. He could come on. We've been planning for him to come on. We've been talking about it. My friend Tom, he's started an awesome thing. Daryl, I don't get it. What's Daryl? I don't get it. We will just watch you. It's so weird. Bigfoot, his name is Daryl. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, yes. It's blonde. Sorry, I wasn't thinking about that. But yes, you are correct. I can't have him on either. So yeah. So I'm hoping, I keep watching my messages because I'm hoping that he will come on. But if anybody would like to join me, I have some really awesome people that are messaging and that are here. So if anybody wants to come on, don't do it out of pity, please. But I'm not sure what's happening. We did communicate recently, so I really thought that he was going to come on. But it's still early. Maybe he's driving home from work. I'm still positive, trying to be. Because today's been a crappy day. So, pity party. So yeah, today's been not I'll bring rum. Yes. Oh, I have my wine. So that's a good thing. But today was a crappy day, so I was looking forward to this because this is why I do it. right? Because I like to have my, out of reality chats at least once a week for an hour with whatever that may be with. And so I look forward to this. Kind of gets me out of all the craziness of being in the medical field right now. So it's my little bit of getting away. Have a drink. I have some wine. I want bourbon. Hi, Dana, my love of my life. She's my Georgia peach. Oh, cool. Awesome. Well, Tom, that's kind of a pity coming on. You should come on and want to talk about your thing. Hold on, let me get my wine. Hey, listen. Hi, Brian. How are you? I hope you're feeling good. My dad would always talk about hunting Bigfoot with me. Bigfoot was his thing. That's awesome. I mean, at least you guys had something, something cool in common like that. Did I really? Oh, darn it. So I didn't mean to do a butt shot, I promise. But cheers, everybody. Thank you so much for being here too, because I really kind of need this right now. So this is awesome. Alita, I just want to say I think it's awesome that you and your dad were able to. I'm a huge fan of my father. Unfortunately, I was 22 when he passed away, so I never really got to get to know him as an adult, because I was still even though I was 22, I was still a whiny little queenie. I was his only girl, so he spoiled me. But so I did find out though, that he was a big history buff. So I think that's where my Gettysburg and all that stuff. And I say that I wish we would have been able, because me and him probably would have went to Gettysburg 1,000 times together, But I think it's awesome that that's. Let me check my messages. Bubba, my dog wants. I'm going to let him out, and then he's going to be screaming to come back in here. Hold on. All right. And I apologize. I apologize for the butt shot. Sorry. That was unintentional. So, if I'm still lonely, yes, hi, Zlaney. If I'm still lonely, Tom is going to join me. I really feel bad because Ron, literally, we talked. I'm looking at my messages. I am? I'm entertaining? Well, that's a good thing. Thank you. And yeah, I'm not I don't think this is a wine glass. I think this was more of like a Pilsner glass. I think 12 ounces of beer could probably fit in this thing. But that's the kind of day it's been, so I'm going to enjoy it. So let me see. We talked the 18th. And he said, and he was excited. He said, we are on a week from today. I said, I can't wait. Neither can I. So I was like, oh, this is awesome. It's really going to happen. And then, but maybe something happened at work. I don't know. I really try not to get upset about stuff like that, because, we've all been there where, something's happened, or even if you thought, what, I really don't care, to go on. But I'm the type of person, I would rather somebody be honest about it and maybe hurt my feelings for 3 seconds than drag it out, if that makes sense. I guess it does depend on what type of relationship you have with that person. You could be really, really good friends. You could be acquaintances. So I guess it depends on the level of the friendship or the connection you have, where you care about shit like that. If that makes sense. All right, so let's talk about ghosts again because I don't even know where I was going with that. That's my ADD. So I'm really excited. I'll just talk a little bit about everything that's coming up because I'm really excited about getting back into, events. Bigfoot might have gotten him. I know. I was trying to say like maybe he's trying to like act like Bigfoot a little bit. Maybe he's like playing the character before he comes on so he can be, you know, in Bigfoot mode. Sorry. I hate when my shirt's crooked. But I'm not sure what is happening. So I forget what I was going to start talking about. Oh, all the events that are coming up. I'm looking forward to investigating again. And I've actually had very loosely two private, hi Bill, two private cases coming my way. But they're just taking forever to get going. So it's like a jewelry store. One is a jewelry store, and one's a jewelry store, and one's a private house, I think. No, an attorney, a law firm. So one is a jewelry store, one's a law firm. I'm just waiting, for some dates, and then I'm going to talk to a couple of my friends or my teammates, and we'll go from there. And if allowed, I'll share whatever we get. But also, I'm also excited about the events coming up, and both of the big events that we're going to, both are in Gettysburg, which makes them 1,000 times better. So, hi Sam, how are you? I'm going to Gettysburg, not this weekend, but next weekend, and I'm going for my birthday. My birthday is Tuesday, and I go to Gettysburg every year for my birthday. It's my yearly birthday bar crawl. So we get a room and we just start at one end of Gettysburg and we walk our way up to the square and we either end up closing out the pub or we end up closing out the blue and gray. So I'll be at both Gettysburg events. Yay! Oh yeah, Tom. Yeah, so that'll be fun. Can you go to Gettysburg and do metal detect? No. Nope. No metal detecting. And I am going to tell everybody because it cracks me up that I really am really blonde. I really am blonde. I'm so embarrassed but I'm just going to tell you guys because I don't care right now. So I've been going to Gettysburg since 2007, and so you can do the math of how many years that is. And it was probably 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, that I learned that relic hunting was not a type of a bird. I always thought that the signs that said relic hunting, no relic hunting, I was always like, why do they only care about that bird? I'd always say it in my head to myself. Then I found out that relic hunting are like the relics that, no metal detecting, basically. I'm like, well, why wouldn't they just say no metal detecting? Like, I got mad instead of just owning it like a champ. Like, okay, well, that's what I call relic hunting. But anyway, that is my secret, and I just let it all out. So there, whatever. I think Tom said he's coming on. Kenny said he's going to be at both. So am I. I'll be there. Let me see. Tom, I'll share the link in the comments. I was going to email it, but I'll just share it there. Oh my gosh, he still hasn't messaged me. I sound like a scorned girlfriend or something, but it sucks. It sucks when you plan on having somebody on and then they don't come on. But I'm sure. Thank you, Alita. But I'm sure, that there's a I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I'm sure there's a good reason for it. He's a really cool guy from what I know of. So, don't let see now all my like history people are gonna laugh at me, but yep, it's true. I'm so happy you guys are here, seriously. And even if we don't talk about Bigfoot, if anybody knows about Bigfoot, please, I mean, I would love to have you on. I want to bring somebody on for the Ouija board. I want to bring somebody on for Bigfoot because I'm still really, I mean, I had that guy on the last time, which he was, interesting. It was just a phone thing. And, I feel like I still have questions, and that's not against him. If he doesn't, you and my apple crown will do. Am I really that entertaining? Well, Ron, actually, what was that, 2 years ago? I was in Gettysburg for a week by myself. And I was walking the town. Like I literally would park my car and just get out and start walking. And I came across some really cool, I don't want to say cool, but I came across something like crazy. I just walked around the corner and part of the college, Gettysburg College, was on fire. And I was like Facebook Living, walking around town, driving around town, showing everybody Gettysburg. And Ron just had surgery, if I remember correctly. He had just had surgery and couldn't do anything. So he was watching my live videos all the time. So I'm glad that I was some good entertainment, and I continue to be for you, Ron. Flip-flops. Yeah. I had flip-flops on the whole time. And he said that's all he could hear was my flip-flops. But that was fun. I do go to Gettysburg probably by myself. Like every other year, I'll go for about 8 days, and I just go by myself, and I love it, Oh, Tom's here. Shit. I don't know how long you've been there. Sorry, Tom. I'm over here, la la land, talking. Were you there?
I've been here a little bit. A little bit.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. You were in mid-story.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you don't eat dinner and you decide to just,
Samesies.
Yay. Yes. Wait, how long have you been there?
Not real long.
All right, good.
Just a couple minutes.
So for anybody that doesn't know this wonderful gentleman, Tom, he is one of my favorite people. We used to message all the time. And then, I don't know, Tom became like this, like awesome YouTube big guy, and, he kind of forgets about us little paranormal brew people.
The little peons. No, I also got wrapped up in some other stuff too lately. In addition to the YouTube videos, I've been doing live shows. I do 2 a week now. I do one on Friday nights at 8:30, which kind of clashes with Kenny's show. So I'm sorry, Kenny, I didn't pick the time. And I do one.
You know what? I don't get notifications for anybody's shows.
It doesn't go to my private profile. I'm doing it for like a network per se. The network is hey, Ron and Bill, we're talking soon, buddy.
Yeah.
I do it for a network called Psycho Bunny Death Cult. They also have pages called Psycho Bunny DC, Psycho Mantium 13.
So it's not like on Facebook or anything like this.
No, it's Facebook. They're Facebook pages. They just have like a group of like 3 or 4 pages and a website for each page, as well as a YouTube. So.
All right. So it's on your page, your Facebook.
Well, if you
have to go to their Facebook.
Well, it broadcasts on their Facebook. I've put links up to it on my page. But,
what if I only want to watch your show, though?
Well, then you would have to like bookmark the page so you don't get the notifications of everybody else. Or there is a Facebook page just for my Friday night show. That's called Dom and Tom's World.
Yes.
It's like a variety show where we do interviews and stuff like that. I have reached out to this woman right here, so she will be on one of the shows next week, or no, not next. Well, hopefully next week, if Dee is able to get off from work. I intend on having Dee and Bill on there to talk about Selma.
I will watch. That'll be awesome.
But if you just look up Dom and Tom's World, You'll eventually find it. If you see like on the very top, the image up top, the banner image, if you find like a yellow couch with a black background, that's us. That's our joke about the casting couch. And
So who's Dom?
Dom is a guy that I met actually through Ted Van Son. I was on a show with him. Ted had him on because this guy has written 2 books now, and Ted really liked him a lot. So they brought him on, and we were on the end of the show together, of course, doing one of Teddy's famous games that he used to do at the end of his shows with Talk with Teddy, where he put up like weird pictures of like photoshopped animals, and you had to give him a funny name or something like that. And me and Dom just continued to talk as time went on.
So then whose idea was it to do, like, I know you were doing
Tom's
which
World.
was really cool. Yeah, you were doing Tom's World. You were going to places and you were, you know, videoing and everything. Which
this is Tom's World.
Yeah. Which was cool. So I'm assuming like maybe this whole thing was probably started with you, and then.
Speaking of Dom.
Oh.
He's getting muted though.
Hold on, let me see. I got it. Yeah, so you started doing. Hold on, I'm just checking to see if maybe I got a message, but that's
Nothing
okay.
Yet.
No Bigfoot sightings?
No.
All right,
not at all. I mean, I've seen some people with really big feet, but no Bigfoot sightings.
All right, so you started with doing Tom's World, right? Mm-hmm. And I know you went with Kenny to some, Kenny's. Yeah, you did a couple things with Kenny.
Yep, we went to the abandoned prison farm that I did a video of, like right near where he grew up. And then we also went over into Hackensack, Jersey to go see a submarine, and then go to the park where War of the Worlds. History of the World is a different movie. War of the Worlds was supposed to take place, like the original park in Hackensack, or just out of Hackensack. So we went there together. That was fun. We haven't done any since. Hint. But
he said he's hiding in the backgrounds.
Oh, does that mean he's in the backstage?
Oh my God, he is. Fuck. How am I not seeing this? This is amazing.
What the hell?
I don't know. Is that better? I don't know how I'm not seeing it. I'm like totally engrossed in the conversation or something, and I'm just not.
Beard, the white beard, man.
I know. That's
You're like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That's right. You want to see my lightsaber?
How long have you been there?
Like 3-4 minutes.
Like when I was totally talking about you, you were there?
Yeah.
I didn't even know you were there. See, I'm psychic.
Are you on your phone?
No.
No, on laptop. Oh, it should pop up along the bottom. Unless you do full screen. Do you keep everything full screen?
Well, no, because she sees the comments too. So she must not.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Lack of observational skills.
Yes. I'm like so like into it. Like I'm just like, that's never me.
I know there's a setting that you can, in actual settings, you can click on the switch for the toggle to go over, and it says it'll make a sound when new guests to pop up. Because that's what I have. Because I'm always confused. I usually start, especially if I have a guest. It's like half hour before the show starts. I send them a link. I'm like, get on so I can tell you what to do.
Right. Yeah, no, I don't do that. There's no sorts of any type of organization with me and my show whatsoever. I don't even know. I still have StreamYard up there in the corner. Like you, Brian Cano, like all these people are trying to tell me, like, oh, you can do this, you can do that. And I'm like,
you're seriously going to put me and Brian Cano in the same?
No, I'm saying, I'm not. What I'm saying is, everybody's going to tell me like how I can do stuff. And I'm like,
well, you have to get a subscription to change that.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I paid for this subscription because you get to do a whole bunch of more stuff.
Is it worth it?
I think it is because you can stream to a bunch of different platforms, and then you can do all your kinds of videos and overlays and all this kind of stuff. Plus I have
the streaming to multiple places is the most key part. Like then you could be streaming to here on Facebook and then on YouTube and then maybe on something else. So
I stream to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
But where do you start? Does that make sense? So like
at the beginning, it's a very good place to start here.
You know, the song was already going in.
The right question. I don't know how to ask.
I already heard her singing in my head.
So, like what I mean is I use Facebook to go, you know what I mean? Like with StreamYard, like I'll just connect to the Facebook page.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Like you're saying you streamed all these places, but don't you have to connect StreamYard to somewhere?
Yeah, you go into the main menu and
destination.
That's where destinations is where you connect all your accounts. So when you start, like I schedule a show like a few days beforehand. And once that's up, like I heard you guys talking, like, how do you get reminders? There's actually, when you schedule it and it goes to Facebook, there is a reminder. There's a little button that you can push on that link. So when I schedule it and it goes to WLFE network, there's a little button that says get reminder. And then I share that to everything else. I only share to one Facebook page. I don't share to multiple Facebook pages because that gets people all over the place. And they've complained, like, they can't see the comments. They can't have a conversation with somebody because they can't see the comments because everyone's commenting on different pages. So
people complain? I don't believe that.
Are you kidding? Hello, skeptic.
So, Kenny, tell me about your research. Tell me about your research of Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
Yes.
Well, I have done some stuff. I've done a couple shows on it. I've been out. Do you know Eric Altman?
Yeah.
Yes, good friend of mine. I've gone out with him a bunch of times, and just wandered through the woods. They had certain places because he had a Bigfoot conference. It was like a Bigfoot camping weekend that we went to a couple times, and they scheduled people to go out in groups, and we got to talk to a whole bunch of different guys. There were like mountain men from Mountain Monsters or Mountain Men. I don't know. One of the really awful TV shows.
Of which Kenny looks like one now.
I know. You know, this is, I'm telling you, dude, I just got lazy. I was like, you know what? Let me see what happens.
It's weird between the hairstyle and the beard. It's like almost looking like George Lucas or something.
I hardly ever have a beard, and I usually like my hair short, like cropped, real short. So yeah, this is I've just been lazy. I've been so busy with other projects. I haven't had time, really, and I don't care. I don't really care what I look like right now. So, but yeah, aside from that, I mean, the Bigfoot stuff is just. I've gone out. I was part of a documentary, a couple documentaries actually about Bigfoot, giving input, and just when it comes down to it, there is just not enough evidence to support a community or what's the there has to be a breeding population when it comes to such a large animal like that, or any animal, and we're talking like a 500-600 pound at least creature. So you have to have food sources, you have to have a breeding population, and I mean, most notably, you have to have bodies.
Well, okay, this is interesting, right? So I always said this. I'm like, where are the bones? Why haven't we found anything like that? There, this and that. But so the guy I had a guy on 2 weeks ago, right? And he said, well, you know, do you find deer bones on the regular? Do you find squirrel bones on the regular? And I'm like, no. You know, you don't just, and he's like, and think about how many there are of them and how many years they've been on this earth. I mean, like when you're walking through the woods, do you find those bones? And I'm like, no.
Well, I have.
I mean, I found bones here and there, but when you think about how many there are.
But that's the thing. You do find them. You do
I found them in my travels.
Yeah. We've been hiking in the woods. We find bones.
In the middle of the garden.
Sometimes they're scattered. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they can be found, and that's the thing. They can be found, and now we're talking about a creature that's much larger than a deer.
Well, now I don't. and I've said this, and I don't mean any disrespect, but I don't believe in Bigfoot. I don't.
Maybe he doesn't believe in you.
He doesn't. That's my problem.
That's why you can't see him. He doesn't believe in you.
What's wrong with me? I'm right here. You got to believe in me. I'm right here.
You're a peach.
I am. I have a cup that says so.
He's such a peach.
I have a
He's a peach
cup that I use all the time. I love
it. Me too. Every day. So
I'm not special.
Yeah, so I what?
I said I'm not special. I don't have one.
It's a very, very intense membership process to get into the Peach Club.
Yeah.
I've hung out with you. I'm a little scared by that. So
so I don't believe in Bigfoot. I don't knock anybody that does, but like what I was going to say is, so these people believe, and I don't know anybody that has anything like that, but like the people that have the molds, like the white molds of a footprint and this and that, or they think they have the hair and this and that.
Keep talking. I'm going to show you something.
He says, look, I got 2 of them. I use them as slippers.
Yeah. Oh, so you have one.
I have one. This is from Eric Altman. This was a gift from him. This was done from a mold that was made from the original casting from Bluff Creek, which is the famous Patterson-Gimlin film, Patty, the famous Bigfoot scene. So that's a casting from that.
Yeah.
So what do you think of that?
I think it's cool. I mean, it's cool. I got a fucking Bigfoot print. Yeah. But do I think it's genuine? Does this represent an animal? No, I don't think so. Right. I mean, just for me, just the basic stuff. There's no dermal ridges in this. Granted, it's a casting from a mold of a casting. So yeah, there's going to be degrading detail here. But do I think this is a legitimate foot from an animal? No, I don't. This is much too flat. Much too flat for something that was so heavy walking through.
Oh yeah, you're right. It would be. Yeah,
I don't agree that this is anything except I would say this is probably planted. So
was it a well-known area?
Sorry.
Well, Bluff Creek, that's the famous. I mean, when you see the famous footage, that
one picture,
everything,
video?
Yeah, Patty walking through in the field. That's the Patterson-Gimlin film. That's the most famous Bigfoot. That's the first Bigfoot film that was ever.
The one where they freeze frame. He's just like.
Yeah. Okay. See, but I didn't know what it was called. Okay.
So there had been sightings, but I mean, there was so much wrong. There's so many red flags with the story behind it and the people that were involved, both Patterson and Gimlin. And it's just a messy story. I mean, that's an entire show on to itself. Hey, Megan, what's up, girl?
Can you even see me? There's no light in this house whatsoever.
You need lights. You're like a podcaster now, a vodcaster. You got to get your light things going. I got 2 lights going. I got a ring light there and a ring light over here. I've been watching YouTube videos. Learning how
let me see. Let me see if I can take the.
You need to turn the light off behind you too.
Turn it off.
Butt shot.
Only have light in front of you, or have a stronger light in front of you.
Well, that's all right. Hold on. Let me see.
When the predominant light is in the background, it's going to cause more shadow on your face.
When the predominant light is in the background.
Yeah. You always need the key light. The key light has to be in front, but not dead center. It's got to be a little bit off to the side and above, so it gets the shadow underneath your chin, so it looks like you got your face. But she's fucking thin as fuck, so
yeah.
I'm not that thin.
Well, you're not like stick figures thin, but you're much thinner than the 2 of us. So,
all right,
or even just one of us.
That's not any better. Oh, wait a minute. Wait.
You just wanted to do another butt shot.
Is that
better? It's getting there. It's getting there. Turn that light off. Yeah. There you go.
Oh yeah, much better.
That's much better.
All right,
much
good.
Better. See, we're learning shit tonight. Hey!
Yeah. Kenny, you look like you've been sharing an island with Tom Hanks.
Getting there.
Wilson! Wilson!
All this, Wilson. A ring.
Yep.
Or a
ring. You can get it cheap at Walmart, and
I have
good.
The one over there too. So
you
can actually get. I don't know how much the Walmart ones, but like the Five Below store has these, and that's what the one in front of me is, and I think they're $10, and it comes with a. I think it comes with a short tripod. So, I mean they're perfect. The one over there has just got one of them little tripods with the arms that you can wrap around things, and it's just on my other microphone boom.
She said take a shot every time there's a butt shot. We'd be drunk already.
Oh my gosh, I did not mean it to even do that. I didn't even know I was doing that.
That's all right. Nobody minds.
I didn't even know I was doing that. I was just trying to get yourself a ring light. I think I am going to do that. I'll get a ring light.
Yeah.
You can even get little mini ones that clip onto the back of your computer so that it's like right there too. I mean, they don't work as well.
Yeah, I have one of those. It's about like that big.
Yeah.
And I have it for travel. It does okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was much easier for what it cost to get that plus shipping. It was easy just to stop at the store and pick up a big one and put it behind it. Yeah.
Size matters.
Yep.
I mean, it could be a really big ring, but doesn't eliminate a lot of light. So it does matter on how you work it, how it works.
Performance is a factor.
Performance and size. It's a good balance. You can make up for the other if you know what you're doing. So
you gotta find the mid ground, it's
the song in the video the other day. Oh my gosh. I totally didn't even remember that was in that video.
I saw that too.
I said, what did somebody talk about the thongs? And I watched the whole video, and at the end of the video, I go to get up, and there they are. Just, hey.
Saw that.
There you go. You had a Bigfoot sighting.
That's right. We just had one here on your show live.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
All right, so what happens during a Bigfoot investigation?
Same useless shit you do during a ghost hunt.
You're looking for something different. Wouldn't there be different techniques?
There's not much. I mean, I went out with them, and you roam around in the dark, in the woods. At least that's when the Bigfoot hunts that I signed up for were. But you can also go during the day. Just you roam around the woods. You look, and if you hear weird noises and you can't explain it because it's miles away, then it's a Bigfoot. If you see something run way off in the distance and you can't identify it, you call it a Bigfoot. I mean,
do you get the same questions where somebody goes, "Did you hear that?"
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I really didn't see too much actual investigation work. It was more or less you go out there and they had these tree knockers, which was it was a big stick that they would. Sometimes it was an axe handle, sometimes it was a baseball bat, and they would hit a tree, and 3 times. And I was like, "What are you doing? What is this?" And there were several people that claimed that this was a Bigfoot call. That's how they communicate over distances.
By knocking.
Yeah.
By knocking?
By knocking.
Well, then what about all those videos where you hear the Bigfoot? The off in the distance or whatever?
No, that's Bigfoot scream calls. Or something.
The Bigfoot calls. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, because every one of them did it differently. Because there were a bunch of people who did that. I'm like, none of y'all motherfuckers. Oh, I'm sorry. Can I curse?
Seriously?
I'm making sure.
There's nothing conventional about that. Like, there's just nothing. This show is like.
I'm like, none of you motherfuckers are doing the same sound. Like, you're all screaming differently. You're all doing different stuff. You all have your little precise, way to do everything. Like, oh, I'm going to hit this tree this certain way. But none of it makes any sense. So you're knocking things with your stick. Yep, my lightsaber.
You want to see my lightsaber?
Oh my gosh. So one time I went on a Bigfoot hunt. And I don't know if it was because, you're in that situation and you're like in the moment,
Yeah.
And I've said it, like I've said, there were some weird things that happened, but were they really, like, I don't know if I was just being, I don't know. It's just weird. Like when we went there, it was up in I want to say Princeton. And also, what?
Nothing.
Oh.
What?
Oh, I don't know. I thought Tom was laughing about something.
No, not me. I don't do that.
Yes, you do.
No, you got the wrong guy.
Nope.
But anyway, so we went out there because some security guard or something like that caught a picture, showed us, and people are like, "Oh, let's go." And
you did the air quotes around picture.
Huh?
You did because
I don't know. It was
picture.
on a cell phone. I can't say for sure what that was. I mean, he's telling me he took this picture with his cell phone, and we were looking at it, and I was just like, "Okay, you can't tell." You can't tell like the I don't know what word I'm looking for, the scale or the
how far away it is and distance
right.
and yeah.
So when I say like he was showed us this picture, everybody else was like, all right, let's do it. And I'm like, I never did it before. I'll go with see what it's like,
right?
Even though I don't believe in it, I still want to see what and we get there, we all get out. There's probably about 8 or 9 of us. And one thing is, and this is why I don't hold any weight to anything I say. However, this is how I remember it. Right.
Okay.
I don't know if this was put in my head prior because I don't really remember all of the conversation that took place to and from whatever. But I do know that what was weird to me was that there was absolutely no sound in the woods.
Well, that could be from you, from the group.
Why are you guys laughing? I am not going.
What?
I'm just happy.
He's happy. He's been drinking.
Yeah.
He's just laughing. What are you doing?
And I still have to have a meeting with my next guest.
Creepy doll. Alita.
Where?
I don't know. Oh, maybe she sees a creepy doll. Yes, he does. He has creepy, like satanic, like
what
doll in his house. Oh my god.
She left. She's like, fuck this. I'm not doing this show anymore.
Yeah. But anyways, so there was weird things that happened, but I don't know why they were weird or anything because like I don't know enough about Bigfoot research, investigating it, or anything. But I also don't believe it exists. So for me,
that's it. I mean, that's why it's weird. It's
dude, Kenny or. Oh my god! Look, see, I'm calling. I say Kenny. See,
look,
that's always you, Tom.
Oh, it's all blurry.
I'm disappointed in you, Tom.
Yeah,
that's Selma Mansion. By the way,
I know. Everybody should go to Gettysburg next weekend to celebrate Taryn's birthday. Are you? I was going to say Megan better be meeting up for me. It's my yearly. I do a birthday beer crawl in Gettysburg every year for my birthday, and it could be just me, and I would still do it.
I'm trying to go this summer when you guys all go. I'm trying to set it up so I can definitely go this year.
Yeah, you should. It's so much fun
for the bash.
I'm planning on being there for both phenomenology and the bash, as long as the restrictions are up. That's it. I did get my shots, so I'm good. Actually, as of today, I think I have my full 95% immunity thing, but. As long as the restrictions are up, because I mean, if the restrictions aren't up, then there is no conference. So, but I'm hoping.
I'm just superhuman. I don't need it. I drank so much beer that nothing can affect me now.
Well, the rum. I mean,
right? See, so you didn't really need it. It was excessive.
My blood alcohol level.
No, my alcohol blood level.
That's why I drink moonshine.
Woo, yeah.
I don't like dolls either. Oh, ugh.
But they love you.
So wait, so listen.
My name is Talking Tina.
Ew.
But yeah, weird things happen if you're in the woods with a couple people and you're not camping, or even if you are camping, whatever. If you're out in the woods, you're in a different environment. If you're a city person, if you're used to being in a neighborhood, then yeah, things are going to seem weird.
Oh no. This is the problem. I don't like the woods. So
like horror movies and stuff.
That's why you don't watch my videos.
No. When I was like 6 years old, I had like a really bad experience in the woods, and it was just I was 6, you know what I mean? Or I was probably like 7, maybe 7, you know. But
7.5, 7.2.
And ever since then, I just don't like the woods. The only woods, well, you guys are probably already know this, but the only woods I'll go walking around in by myself is in Gettysburg. I don't know why. I don't know why. Just feel safe there. But anyways, I don't like the woods for shit. I watch those movies like Wrong Turn and all that. I watched like 3 seconds of that and I had to turn it off. I just can't. And so the Blair Witch, when that movie came out, everybody's like all thought it was real, but then when they found it was fake, they're like, "Oh, that movie sucked." I'm like, "No, that movie was scary as shit." Because they were lost. They couldn't get out of the woods. To me, that's
thought it was real because of the
marketing.
Yes, the marketing team was on point.
Yeah. Brilliant marketing.
I wondered if it was supposed to be real or not before the movie actually came out. And then when I saw the movie, I go, "Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, this isn't real."
This is dumb. You got the guy standing in the corners.
But I don't give a shit if it's real or not. I don't care. I don't believe it is. Never did. But the fact that they were stuck I got anxiety the whole entire time I was watching the movie because they couldn't get out of the woods. And I'm like, what the fuck? Just go one way and keep going. Like, what are you doing?
I get the same thing when I watch videos where people are up high. Like, I have a fear of heights and a huge fear of heights. So even when I watch videos, my stomach starts doing flip flop.
Yeah, so
I just saw a video where 2 people went back to the woods where the Blair Witch was filmed, and those sticks that they had hanging all over that were shaped like that, they're still hanging there.
Yeah, no.
That's awesome.
I would love to go see that.
No.
Oh, that sounds like an adventure.
And the house is still there too.
Where is that?
I'm not sure. I'm going to have to find that video again. It was just recently when I came across it, but it was like early morning, so I didn't commit much to memory.
Why would you want to go there?
Because
why not?
I like filming locations too.
Yeah.
I just haven't got to any yet. Coming up.
But listen, because like all I would think about was being lost back there. That's all I think about because that's what I saw.
Maryland.
But the woods that they were in is actually not as big as it's depicted to be on the film. Like, I mean, they're big, don't get me wrong, but they're not as like they seem to be completely lost where they walked for days and didn't get anywhere.
You could get lost in the Pine Barrens for sure.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. Big place.
It's so long and it's so big and it's so wrong turn.
Yeah.
So wrong turn.
So hey, the filming location is in Maryland.
Okay.
And it's only like 2.5 hours from us.
That's not bad.
Oh, that's a day trip. We can go find that.
We could do that, and we'll find those.
Meaning the 3 of us. Am I included?
You can go with us.
That coffin rock is there too, and everything. Like the whole thing.
The little town with the cemetery and shit. Like, oh yeah.
Yep.
That's on the list.
I'll go with you 2 go.
Sure.
We're going.
That's a cool video.
Burkittsville. Nice. Montgomery County, Maryland. The historic town of Burkittsville. So, yeah.
Burkittsville. Why do I feel like I heard about that?
Maybe you have.
I'm just waiting on that one video that's going to finally get me up over the 1,000 mark so I can get monetized there.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm halfway there.
Good.
I'm at 520 now, I think, subscribers.
Awesome. That's great, dude.
Yeah, but it's a lot of work. You have to whore out your stuff a lot on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
You know, plus
I hear you.
I've been on different live feeds and stuff like that. So, always whoring it out everywhere I can.
Because you're a whore.
That's right. YouTube.com/This Is Tom's World.
There you go.
Look, I just did it again.
Oops. Tom did it again. That's the only singing you're going to get out of me.
He whored out his channel.
Seneca Creek State Park is where Blair Witch was filmed.
Right. That's
right.
Yeah.
Look how cute she is.
And there were some other multiple locations, like most the diner that they were at, and the cemetery, and
the cemetery scenes, the town scenes were in Burkittsville, and then the rest of it was in Seneca Creek Park. Seneca?
It's Seneca or Seneca?
Seneca?
I don't know.
Seneca. Oops. I like Seneca.
I like Seneca.
I got to jet out of here because the guy that I'm supposed to have on our show this week is going to be messaging me any minute.
Oh, good luck.
We got to have like a little meeting.
Good luck with that. I hope he does message you.
He will. He will. He already said he will. He was at dinner.
That's awesome. I'm glad that you have a guest
that'll message you back.
Well, we did have one guest that kind of flaked out on us, but I forgave her for that. She knows who she is if she's watching. I'm not saying any names because we all know her.
Oh, well, it's not me.
No.
Who else could
I'll just leave it as a mystery. Because she will be on there at some point.
Cool.
Anywho, I will see you all later. Thanks for having me on. It was awesome.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Like the three of us haven't hung out on here in like forever.
Yeah, I know.
Well, we're going to be going to whatever abandoned place, whatever. In the woods, so let's do it.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
All right, I'll see you guys later. See everybody later.
Bye, Tom.
Bye.
Bye, Tom's World.
Oh, shit. Now you're stuck with me.
I was going to say, now you're stuck with me. You only came on because Tom came on.
No, I came on because I wanted to talk some shit.
Here. I think the house was built by students from University of Maryland.
I don't
wonder how long
ago. So principal photography began in 97. Wow. So long ago.
It was, but it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, it doesn't. But yeah, I mean, I remember sitting in the theater watching that and being excited because I didn't know that was way before my skeptical debunking days. And I was all for it. I was like, this is great. Found footage shit. Let me see it. And then I remember going about halfway through the film. I was like, this is bullshit. I don't think this is real. This is not real.
Well, definitely by the end of it, it's not real.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of got silly.
I mean, I was so, wait, are we talking about Blair Witch?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was scared the whole time.
How much have you had to drink?
It's been a rough day.
Oh.
So now I'm just trying to forget about it and
relax.
Be with my peeps and talk about and not talk about the world. Just talk about this world.
I did the same thing. I love doing this kind of stuff. I love because I do a show Friday night and Saturday night. And
yeah, why am I not getting updates for this? I always used to get updates.
Well, you know what? Because I do broadcast through the network on Facebook. So I share or I schedule the event through the network. So I schedule it on here and I share it to Facebook page of WLFE, and that's where it pops up. And from there, I share that post on my other pages and like my personal page and my other blog pages and stuff. So unless you click for the reminder for that. And
do I just go on your page and click it?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It just comes up. There's a little button on the, because it usually has a picture of if I have a guest or whatever theme I'm going with that night. And you just look and there's a little button that says get reminder and you click on it, boom. And you'll get a little, I think email reminder or a notification through Facebook. And I'll be like, hey, live show's starting.
All right. Because I always used to get it when you would go on, and I would just pop on, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for some reason, I'm not getting them, and I'm not getting them for Tom. I'm not getting them for you. I used to get them for Gina. I'm not getting them for Gina anymore.
I don't get any from her. I haven't seen her do a show in a while.
Yeah, I used to get them for that, and but I do get them for people, so that I know I can still get them. I just don't know why I'm not getting the ones that I used to get that I used to go on. It's not like I wasn't active on them.
I think again, it comes back because I get reminders for you. Like that's why I saw that you were on, because I think right before or right when you did go live, it popped up and said, "Hey, Paranormal Brew's going live." I said, "Oh, okay. Let me go in and see if I can annoy the guest this week." But I think because I go through,
Kenny, you could come on every week. I don't care.
Oh my goodness. So definitely, I mean, I'll share it next time you see me share a link. I'll actually tag you in it.
Yeah, please. Time. And then that way I can like click on that, and then I can maybe set a notification somewhere because I was like,
you'll get it.
Yeah,
it's hard because it's because it's part of a network now. It's and it's been for the last couple of months. There's a lot of shows on the network that I don't like, and it's not being mean. It's just like there's shows that I don't really care to watch, so I wouldn't subscribe to that channel just for everything because I hate notifications about every freaking thing.
Right.
So, but it's yeah. I mean, when the link pops up, you take a look at it, and yeah, because I don't actually go live through my own page. That's why there's not reminders going out.
Gotcha.
So it's not saying, "Hey, your friend Biddle is going live." Yeah.
Yeah, because I used to get those, so I'd be like, "Oh shit!"
That's why, because in the beginning, when I said I narrowed it down, because I was sharing it, I was streaming to my personal page, I was streaming to I Am Kenny Biddle, to the Skeptical Help Bar page, and then this page, and then it was like everybody. There was like 5 or 6 on one page, and then there was like 15 on another page, and then there was like 12 or something on a different page, but none of them could talk about or argue. What is that, Kenny? You have what?
Have you
watched Fright Club yet? It's on Discovery Plus. Thought of you. I will not subscribe to Discovery Plus. I am totally against it. I'm tired of all these fucking streaming platforms. I'm tired of the Plus. I see Disney Plus and Discovery Plus, Weight Watchers Plus. Everybody's going Plus.
Well, I don't know what the Plus thing is. Weight Watchers Plus, I might subscribe to that.
But the Plus, like everybody's using Plus. I don't get it.
I might subscribe to the Weight Watchers Plus.
Why?
I might fail, but I'd still would.
Like you need to lose weight. Whatever.
I do. I hear you. Sorry to get you fired up.
Oh, it's okay. No big deal. I mean, it's just like I get Disney Plus because I love The Mandalorian. I love that series. I think it's great. And then for the Marvel stuff, like WandaVision and all the Marvel series that are coming out, I absolutely love it. And I also get HBO Max, but that's part of my cable thing because I want to see some of the stuff that they put out. DC stuff, because I'm still holding out for DC to clean up the rack and do some decent movies again. But other than that, like I'm done. I don't need to pay anymore for TV. All these shows that are going to the streaming platform, I hear excuses like, "Oh, that's the way the industry's going because of the new way that everyone's living." No. TV is still TV. Even on streaming, they still have to make content. I don't get why everybody has to break off and do their own thing and expect everyone to pay more. So
I agree.
I don't like Ghost Adventures and shit like that. So, me and Mr. Baggins have a great relationship.
Did you see it yet?
The Cecil Hotel one?
Oh,
I haven't watched it. I watched the other one. I watched the 4-part miniseries that was on Netflix.
I just got done that.
Phenomenal. Have you finished it?
Yes, I did.
That was phenomenal.
And totally made sense. The ending, that to me, totally the detectives did their job. And totally 1000%, I agree with what the outcome was. those, and even before I watched the end of it, I think I messaged you. I was in the middle of watching it. I'm like, some of these conspiracy theories are insane.
So like, we should say spoiler warning if we're going to talk about this. We want to talk about it. Spoiler just in case you haven't seen, people haven't seen it. But yes.
I mean, I didn't say how it ended. I'm just saying that some of those conspiracy theories were
conspiracy theories, and I think, I don't know if we talked about this or not, but I think that at first when they were going through them, and we're talking about, there was YouTubers and social media people that were taking upon themselves to solve the crime.
Yes.
And from the comments, they were horrible. I mean, they were not people that were into the facts. They were jumping to conclusions. They were conspiracy theorists.
Yes.
That's what they were.
Yep.
And they targeted, they set their sights on one guy. And they did that because of the way he looked, the way he expressed himself. Like, I'm not into death metal kind of thing. Like, that's what he was very, like, the makeup and the bloody makeup and all this stuff, and singing songs about murder and mayhem. You know, I don't like that, but that's his thing. But they focused on him because of that and ignored all the facts, ignored them completely. And
I understand if they like took like a side eye, like, but then moved on. You know what I mean?
You know what? The first clue that they brought up was the clue that fucked up their entire investigation.
Yes, but I forget how they said. Oh, they said if the water was if it was filled enough, she would be able to get the lid back on.
Oh, that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh. That's the only thing.
I'm talking about the guy that they blamed. The guy that they blamed. They targeted him because of a video that he posted.
Right.
And somebody came across a video of him in the hotel, saying he was there.
Oh, but it was like
It was a year before the disappearance, but nobody paid attention to the date.
Right.
So all these hundreds of people that were self-appointed investigators did this and ruined this guy's life.
Yeah. And I said that to Rob too. I go, first of all, why were there like 40 detectives showing up for one thing? You know what I mean? Like there were like so many detectives like from all over that showed up for like this one thing.
Well, you know what? I think it's more or less it was even though it
was sensationalized.
It was more because it was an international kind of thing because they were from Canada. Yeah. So now you can get more people involved, and maybe they just didn't have a lot. Because the timing. I mean, we how many missing person cases have you worked on? And I'll say this same for me. I've worked on just privately. I've only worked on like a dozen or so, but I haven't actually worked with detectives. So I don't know the process. I don't know if that's standard. Like, hey, this girl just went missing yesterday. We know she's missing. There's these problems. Do they jump on it? Do they have 30, 40 people? You know, let's go to that hotel. Let's figure it out. Or not. I don't know.
I mean, like from everything that I've watched, I know it's TV, you know, and coming from, I mean, I know a couple of detectives. I know, you know, I have law enforcement throughout my, my whole family. Generally, 18 detectives don't show up for one. You know what I mean? Like it's generally not like what happens. You know? And, so I don't know because once they put that video out there, that's when it blew up. I mean, I remember personally seeing the video when it first came out. You know what I mean? Like everybody's like, "Oh, did you see this weird video?" You know, I had no idea. I had no idea it was even about that show or the movie or whatever it was, documentary was about that video until I started watching. I was like, "Holy shit!" I remember seeing this and thinking it was weird. I think they drug it out a little bit in parts, so I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, what the short video or the entire series?
The whole thing.
I mean, well, the series was a document series. I get it because I felt that way too sometimes. Like, why are they going in this direction?
And they talk about the so long to get there. You know?
It overall though, even the boring parts may not be boring because I did enjoy the history.
Right.
I did
No.
enjoy
I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. I learned a lot. You know what I mean? Like watching it and the whole process. Like it literally, at the end of it, like I said, like as I was watching, I was like, why are they taking forever to do this? But by the end of it, it literally, piece by piece, showed you, how this investigation a missing person investigation would happen. Now, granted, I can't believe that they actually allowed some of the things out there. Like one thing you brought up was the date on the video. Like they should have seen that right away. That's something to me, like a quote unquote good detective would have noticed. But did the show just make it seem like it was that? Like, did they notice that right away? But the show made it seem like it was like drawn out because that's what they were doing.
Right.
I don't know.
It doesn't take long. I mean, it really doesn't take long for the internet to destroy somebody. It really doesn't. Once you put it, because I come across, let me back up here. The reason that I focused on that so much is because I'm used to seeing people share like these stories, these dreadful stories, or people died and this and that. And they're like, oh, look, this just happened. And as soon as you click on it, the first thing I look at is the date. And you realize this was like 10 years ago. This was 15, 20 years ago. Pay attention to the date because you're sharing information as if it happened right now.
Right.
And it didn't. And that's why it pissed me off when I saw that, because it was like, all right, this somebody got this video. They probably shared the video and not any information about it, and just said, hey, I found this guy at this hotel. Look at him and look at what he does. Look at the videos that he makes. He's the guy. He fucking killed her.
Right.
And that's all it takes. That's really all it takes.
Sure. And then they started looking into him, saw on his Facebook and saw on his social media or whatever it was that he was,
and just hounded him. And I mean, like he said, I mean, when they interviewed him, he woke up and had hundreds of messages, some of them threatening him and thinking he should die.
Right. And every time that they came out with something different, he would get the messages again, like you did this, you did that,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, to me, when I was watching it, like when I first saw it, like back in the day, not knowing any better, you know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, that's pretty weird. Not thinking about, like, to me, it was just entertainment, right? I was like, oh, that's weird. And I forgot about it, I mean, I watched it a couple of times because I thought at the time I was like, it's fucking weird. But then I just forgot about it. But seeing how they came to the conclusions they did and everything that they, all the the investigation was so interesting how they went about getting from the start to the finish,
Right.
And I think it was pretty cool. And at the end of it, I was so fucking satisfied with the ending. I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
There's no questions, because the whole time I'm like, how'd the fucking lid get back on there? Tell me how the lid got back on there. How did the lid get back on there?
Yeah.
I was like, everything else makes sense. How'd the lid get back on there?
There's even more that they didn't cover.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. Like,
because I have copies.
There's a longer video or something. Somebody was telling me.
So there's a video. There's a guy that came from, I believe, China. I think he actually traveled from China after. It was like a month or two. It was a month or two after they discovered her body in the tank, and he flew over here, booked a room, went there, and as soon as he got to the hotel, and there's a YouTube video. I'll try and find it for you so you can watch it. But he goes out and follows the path that they think she took, and nobody stopped him. He went up the fire escape right on the side of the building, went up to the roof, climbed up that ladder on that little the top of the elevator or top of the stairs, and looks down, and the lid's open. So the same lid for the same tank where Elisa Lam was found, the lid was open again.
So I wonder if the other ones are like kind of tightly on and that one's loose and like the wind blows it off.
It's probably, well, I wouldn't think the wind would do that.
They were saying like it only weighed like 20 pounds. Like anybody could really.
I'm thinking more that it's a way to get rainwater in there, in the tank.
Oh,
leave
you
the
think
lid
somebody
open,
took it off?
let the rain do it, and then it's a little bit cheaper.
Makes sense.
Your water bill.
Yeah, no, that
and
makes
that
sense.
way you don't have to worry about it. But the fact that somebody else found the lid off, and then when they go into the report, and the initial report was that the lid was closed,
right?
But then when they find out that no, that was wrong, it was found open. That's the big deal. So, I mean, if you're an author,
yeah, which is okay, but how do you, as a detective, you say? I mean, again, that went on for how long before he came out and said no?
Right.
It was, you know what I mean? Like for me, that is the only thing.
That's the weak link in the chain.
Right. That is the only thing.
One piece of information, but the original report, and I'll see if I can find that because I have a copy of her her autopsy report, and I have a copy of the toxology. I have all that, and I had that years ago when I started looking into it. But you have that 1 week link where one person makes a comment and says, "Oh no, the lid was closed," and that's it. You know, and the bad thing about it is that everybody relies on everyone else. And when you hear that one piece of information, that's what you go with.
Right. It's so crazy. Like, why wouldn't anybody question that? Like, wait a minute. Like, it's been a year.
It's hard.
And you're saying now?
It's hard to do. Yeah. I mean, that's why I constantly tell people, like, when you do investigations, when you're investigating someone's claim of a ghost or Bigfoot or UFO sighting, whatever, question all of the details. Go back and interview the people yourself. Yeah. I always go to primary sources. I try, if there's the Bela Lugosi mirror at Zach Baggins Haunted Museum. I did an article on that, and that's one of the greatest experiences because I talked to the Lugosi family. I got in touch with them, which was really cool for me. I was like, oh,
yeah, no, that's awesome.
So neat.
But how do you get people like that to talk to you? Like, because I'm sure they're like a little aggravated. I'm sure they get phone calls from people all the time, right?
It helps that I work for an organization. So I do, I'm a freelancer for a Skeptical Inquirer magazine. So I do have that where I can say I do have a column. I write a column for a science magazine.
Right.
And that's how I open it. And usually that helps more because it's not just somebody off the street saying, "Hey, I heard, this is haunted. Can you tell me? Can I see it? Can I come visit?"
Why? Like, I mean, is that like a general what you think about us?
No.
I'm just checking.
I have lots of voices that I use.
I'm just checking.
I could use the standard one that I get where you scream all the time. You just scream. You stupid fuck. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay, whatever. But being nice, reaching out, and like there's been times where I've written about people, and I try not to be mean. I'm blunt. I'm very blunt about what I'm investigating. And if I think you're lying, I might say, I don't think he's telling the truth.
Right.
But I've come across people and met them in person that I've written about. And I mean, even Brian Cano is a good example. I don't hate the guy. Right. I want to make that clear. I don't hate him. And I've written about him. And it was not in a positive light. But when we met up at Selma Mansion, we got along and had a great conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And he understood what I wrote and why I wrote it. He understood it, and we talked about it, and we actually talked about improving other things that he was doing. So it was a good conversation, and that's my goal. That's my ultimate goal. Unless you're Mr. Baggins, and then I don't give a shit what you think. But anybody else? I mean,
I love it. I would.
He's.
It could be a pay-per-view event. Just put it on pay-per-view. Throw it out to pay-per-view.
I've offered several times. There's been people that have approached me and said, "Hey, I do a radio program, and I know like Zach's agent or this and that, and I can get used to on together." I'm like, "All right, cool, I'll do it." When? Just let me know. I'll call out of work, whatever. I'll stay home and do that.
Yeah.
But nothing. And I don't think he ever will. just because
I heard that, and I don't know how true this is. Don't know how true it is. So I'm not saying it, even though I don't like him and I think he's fake as shit, and but that he charges like $20,000 to go to like events or anything like that.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Really expensive, and because he doesn't fly, he only drives.
Oh my God.
He's a real diva. But yeah, I mean, there's not much that I don't know. Well, I guess a lot of ghost conferences would probably love to have him, but I wouldn't.
You know what the problem?
I'd go.
I like Jeff Ballinger. Like, I think he's like awesome. Like, I do like him. So I try to, do I? I don't even know if I do. I was going to say I try to keep my opinions of Zach Baggins, kind of. Because I like Jeff. I think he's funny and whatever. But Zach makes it tough. I mean, he just is. I can't. I just can't.
Yeah.
There's somebody else that I'm like that with, and he's not famous. And
really? Who?
Yeah. We're not going to mention. We won't mention that name.
There's a lot of. Well, I mean, there's a lot of problems. There's a lot of people like that. Mr. Baggins is just a opportunist. And
I think once people like that start making money, that's all that. It's a shame because, all of and I've seen it happen to people, they were good friends of mine, you started out where, you're helping private home or helping people and you're like, whatever we're doing, investigating historical sites, raising money, doing this and that. But once people start making money off of something, what
it shifts.
It's such a shift, and it sucks because I like the old school stuff. Like I like, what I used to do, which is why I don't care if there's 3 people watching or 75 people watching, I don't care.
I do what I do just because I enjoy it. I mean, this is something, if I could do this full time, I would continue to do this full time, exactly the way I do it. Because it's fun. I love solving mysteries. I love digging into them.
You fucking research everything. It's so crazy to me. Like I just started doing my ancestry and my 23andMe, and I'm like half a day in, and I'm like, how the fuck do people do this shit? Like I can't even. And then I quit for like 3 days, and then I'll get back into it. Like I just go.
It's time consuming and tedious when you do a lot of this, and I'll give you an example, but I can't tell you what it's for.
Okay.
Today I had an email today that was about something that I've written about before, a couple of films. That the first film was supposed to be real, and I was able to explain it and figure out what was going on. So I was sent a preview for a sequel to it, and I was wondering where it could be. Like, where is this setting? Because it's supposed to be like a ghost investigation set in a real place, a real haunted house. Where could it be? And during the promo, there's a scene where it's only like 3 seconds long, where the main character, is at a gas station. And he's filling his car up with gas. And that 3-second video, I was able to pinpoint exactly where he was in the United States with no other information.
Right.
Just taking things from the background and looking at it. And I actually found the exact spot on Google Maps and was able to line it up.
That's cool.
But that took me about 4 or 5 hours to do.
Wow.
So it's very tedious. And that's just one thing. But then when you get like a break like that, when it finally breaks and you're like, oh, I know where this is filmed. Now things start coming. It's like a mudslide. It just keeps going and building. And you're like, holy shit, I can figure out everything. So stick with it. I mean, Ancestry is, I use that often. I use it a lot. Ancestry.com. I get on there, and at first it's a little hard to figure out, but then you start weeding it through, because you have to remember it's all the people that are using it are putting the information in there. So there could be some bad leads.
Right. Which I have found, you know what I mean? And I've
used to it. Yeah.
Oh my God. And so now I'm starting to learn, even like when you get the hints, like what I was doing before was just like highlighting everything and add to my tree. You know what I mean? So it was like fucking the whole thing up. So now I've learned that I have to go into each, even if one hint brings up 6 other people, that's new information, and they have 3 facts or whatever. I click on it, and then I find out like, oh yeah, you know what? This isn't with us. You know what I mean? Even though you would automatically think that, but so I've had to fix it a couple of times, but that shit is like, and it literally, for like the first 2 weeks I was doing it, I felt like at the end of every 12-hour thing I was doing, which I can't even believe that's how much time I spent on it. I was back at square one. I felt like I was back at square one. I'm like,
but you're not. I mean, it feels like you haven't made any progress, but the way to think about that is you weeded out a whole bunch of bullshit.
Right.
So you got rid of a lot of stuff, and that's part of it. That's part of the game. I mean, I constantly, one of the things I talk about when I do like a lecture on solving mysteries, it's not a quick fix. You're not going to do it in a day or a weekend or a week. Right. Sometimes I've been working on one mystery and it's not even like a ghost mystery. It's just, I'm trying to find somebody that was buried and trying to find where they are. But it's 3-4 years now. And I've talked to the Department of New York. I've gotten records. I've gone through a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm still working on it. The hotel screaming ghost video, which has like millions of views. It's a very popular, it's like a guy walking down a hotel hallway and he's supposed to be a security guard, and you hear screaming from a room, and he's talking to the security guy on his radio.
Oh, he goes in the room and like the room's all fucked up. And
I solved that. I figured out not only who made it, but where it was filmed. I found the hotels, the exact hotels where it was. But that took 4 years to solve.
What about see that newest one where the wheelchair out front?
Wheelchair out front of what?
There's a wheelchair, like they have like the security guard, like something happens with like a wheelchair or something. I only saw it once.
I don't think I've seen that yet.
Yeah, there was like something.
There's so many videos though.
I know.
I mean, it's just, and I appreciate, I want to say this delicately, because I do appreciate everyone that sends me hints or leads or something, but I get so many messages every day of, hey, have you seen this video? Hey, can you take a look at this? And it's like, oh, and I get distracted a lot. I have a lot of projects. I literally have a whiteboard.
Oh my God, I do it to you all the time. I feel like I'm always like,
I don't mind it. It does get distracting sometimes.
Well, I haven't done it in a long time, but I did.
Yeah, it's like check this, and I get interested. That's the distraction part. It's not like I'm like another one. It's that's interesting. Let me look at this.
Yeah.
Like an hour later, I'm like, fuck, I got to get back to this book, or I have to get back to this article, and yeah. So, but it's fun. I do enjoy it. It's the thrill of the chase never gets boring to me.
Right.
And that's my, I guess when I started out as a ghost hunter, it was like, the thrill of the unknown, ghosts like that. But it's still, even though I don't believe ghosts exist or Bigfoot or that aliens have helped us build, pyramids and shit, it's still that thrill of the unknown that keeps me going. It hasn't changed. Well, it's changed. It hasn't gone away. It's changed a little bit.
How so?
It's changed because I'm not going in looking for ghosts. Like, for example, I'm looking for what's really happening.
Right.
That's the change in perspective.
But I think everybody should be like that.
I agree, but not everybody is.
Right.
Not everybody is. If a team, and we're using ghost hunters as an example here, but if a ghost hunting group uses the expression, I can't wait to see what kind of evidence we get tonight, before they even walk into the place, they're already not doing a good job. because there's so much more. There's so much wrong with that phrase that they don't understand, and that's the problem.
Now, I know I've said, I hope we get a lot of evidence tonight.
I've seen it so many times. We're like, oh, yeah, I can't wait. We're going to so-and-so, and it's so haunted. I can't wait to get all this evidence. I'm like, bitch, you haven't even gone there yet. How do you know anything's going to happen?
Dude, I know. You know, so Gettysburg, I had one year I had Tilly Pierce House by myself, supposed to be, really haunted or whatever. And Farnsworth, both. And stayed overnight at the Farnsworth, supposedly in the most haunted room and this and that. And neither place, nothing happened at all. Neither place, nothing. Not even nothing. So I was really disappointed. But, I would say that I've had so many experiences there that I don't even give a shit about all that. You know what I mean? And in places that aren't where people frequently go anyway. You know what I mean? Like it's not in the Devil's Den and, the places that everybody likes to go to. So
nothing ever happens when I go around. It's I don't know if I have a skeptic aura. Or my magical. I have like a what's that called? My D&D friends will know. It's like a no magic zone, where it's a no ghost zone around me.
I mean, it's possible. Lately, I think I'm that way. I feel like I don't want to I don't want to go anywhere with my friends that are going anywhere cool because I'm like I'm going to ruin it.
That's why I try to make it a practice to just sit in the corner. You know, like sit in the corner and not really bother anybody unless I'm asked. If somebody asks a question, then by all means. And I think it's hard for groups to understand because I'll try and go along, especially the pay to play ones. Like I'll pay my fee and go in and I just stand there. I stand in the corner and watch everyone and I take notes. And I think that's what gets them. They're like, what are you writing about? What are you taking notes for? I'm like, I'm just watching what people do, what they say, how they use equipment, what they use. And to me, it's just collecting data and understanding methodology and behavior. And I love that kind of stuff. But I don't want to be that guy, even though sometimes it's really hard because if somebody says something that's really fucking stupid, I want to say something. I want to be like, no, that's not how it goes. That's not how it works. But I don't want to be that guy. This is not, it's like, it's not my event. I'm not hosting it. These people are paying to have, get spooky and all that stuff. So let them have it.
Yeah, that's the tough part. Like when you're doing something like that and you're trying to raise money for a place, you know what I mean? And you're trying to,
yeah.
It's just, that's like the tricky part. You want the people to have a good experience. So even if they're like, they come up to you and they're like, oh, I think something just touched my shoulder and, and then I got a cold spot, you're always like, oh, that's so awesome.
I actually hate when, or hate's a strong word. But I do not like when I go to an event and I know the organizers, and they announce that I'm there. And I've done that. I've been there a few times where I've shown up. I'm like, all right, cool. I just want to chill. I just want to watch.
Wait, did we do that at Selma?
Yeah. I was like, fuck, man. Because, it puts people on edge. Like they're like, oh, there's a skeptic guy here. He's all in the science. He's going to ruin it. And I don't like that attitude or overhanging kind of mentality going on. In
our defense, there's probably only like 6 people there. And one of them was convinced that Selma, has this like negative. Do you remember that when she got all like upset and mad and left?
She left early.
Yeah. She said something was like
it was the young couple, right?
Yes.
I think it was the young girl and her boyfriend. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And then probably a couple of weeks later, she like totally like went on our Paranormal Brew's Facebook page and like went like back and forth with me and everything. Like she was like insane.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'd rather just, go unannounced and just, blend in. That's all. Because then it's sometimes you get the mostly like the guy that's, in charge of a team that wants to play like, oh, let's challenge the skeptic kind of guy. And I'm not there for that. I'm not there to explain.
Did you ever have a run-in with my favorite person? I'm saying that sarcastically.
We've argued. We argued heatedly years and years ago. Yeah. I pretty much have had a run-in with almost everybody. Because you say one thing and, it starts a fight. I don't like to fight. I don't like to scream at people.
I honestly, like, I don't care what anybody, you know what I mean? I care what you think because you're my friend. Like, I care what you think,
right?
But I respect that we have totally two different views of everything. You know what I mean? And I respect, I do come to you for advice, or if, like, you know what I mean? Like, I have a question about something or whatever. So I respect your research and your opinion and all that. You know what I mean? I
feel the same. Like, I'm not out to criticize. Well, yeah, I do criticize. But that's part of it.
But you know what? You criticize when it's warranted. You know what I mean? Like, right. I believe in ghosts. You don't criticize me for that. You know what I mean? But where it's warranted, the criticism is, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, when it comes up and if somebody asks me a question, then I'm sure I'll tell you what I know and I'll try and demonstrate or something like that. But otherwise, like, just let's just see what happens. Let's enjoy the night. You guys are here to do this. I'm here to do that. Let's do that.
I just hope I'm there the day.
The day that something happens to convince me otherwise.
I hope I'm there. I just hope I'm there.
I hope I'm there too. That's why I keep going out.
If you're not, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I would love it. I would love it. I would love to see a ghost. I would love to see I would love to see a demon, because I think they'd be more entertaining than a ghost.
I really don't want to see that, but I mean, like, I would probably put myself in the line of fire to witness your reaction and would be there for that. Like, I think I would. I mean, I'm not going out there saying that that's what I want to see, but if it was like, okay, you can see this, but you'd have to see this too. I'm like,
I figure okay. I will be I will be up for the Darwin Award when I'm out on a Bigfoot hunt and everyone's like, oh, that's a Bigfoot over there. And I'm the one that goes, well, let's not hide here. Let's go see. And I go see it. And that'll be the time it's actually a Bigfoot. And it
yeah, right.
Well, at least my name will be in the history books.
It's true. Yeah.
There you go. Found the Bigfoot.
I think your name will be in the history books anywhere. People, it will.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I just like doing good work. I don't like the sensationalism that you see on TV.
I definitely don't like that.
I really hate when they get the history wrong, and they shouldn't have. It's one thing to make a mistake, but it's another thing when you have the people and the time and the finances to actually do your fucking research, but you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And you just take the lazy route and say, oh, I'm just going to, whatever the website pops up, I'm just going to use that, and that's the history, or whatever they tell me, that's the history. I'm not going to bother looking into it. I don't like that, because that just, that takes on a different thing where it's more or less you put the blame for something onto people that can't defend themselves. And right. What I mean by that is people that have died years ago, like decades or centuries ago, they can't defend themselves.
Right.
So you're putting the blame on someone. Oh, the hauntings caused by this person.
Well, yeah. And that's the thing too. I always say that all the time, and I have ADD really bad, so this might help me, but walking through a location and stuff, and people are like talking, and they automatically have this idea in their head of who's there. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, it's Kate. Kate is the woman that used to live here, and she lost her baby. She threw him out the window and waited for her husband. There's always this big long story, about this person. So literally a walkthrough to me is I just don't pay attention. I'm more looking at the building. I love architecture, so I'm looking at, I'm checking the building out. I'm looking at cabinets. I'm looking at in closets. I'm basically nosy, very, very nosy
I do that too.
I'm very nosy.
Like you said, I mean, you really have to know the story, because if you go in with that idea, like, all right, this happened, this is what I'm looking for. And like a good example is the screaming lady at Fort Mifflin.
I heard
a story about her, that she lost her daughter. Her daughter was engaged to an enlisted man, and she couldn't handle it, and she disowned her daughter, and then finally, because her daughter was gone or died from some disease, so now the mom hung herself from the second floor.
See, I heard a different story, but the ending was the same.
Okay, so the research, the actual information about that, that's one of the things I was asked by the fort to look into, because it was on a TV show. I think My Ghost Story, which is a horrible show. Oh my goodness, horrible. But they got the history entirely wrong. And that really bothered me, because the production crew was at the fort. All they had to do was walk across the moat to the office to see the records.
Oh.
They would have had all the history they wanted. It was all right there.
Right.
But found out that the woman that they blamed for this, she was there, but her two kids died very, very young, like I think under the age of 5. So they were not engaged to anyone.
Right.
And then where they said that she hung herself, the second floor of the officers' quarters, there was no second floor at that time when she was alive. It was actually a dilapidated building, so it was in need of a repair, but it didn't have a second floor. It only had a first floor, so she couldn't have hung herself, and she didn't die by hanging either. I found her death record. I think it was typhoid fever that she died of, but completely wrong story.
Yeah. See, now I heard it was, something with. My story is really exaggerated, but still the same ending, where she hung herself in second floor office court. You know what I mean? But it was like about somebody enlisted, a boyfriend or a husband, you know what I mean, who came home but didn't come home to her, and she was just couldn't live with herself. Oh yeah. That's what I heard. Yeah. So there's a lot of stories, but she hung herself.
Yeah. So in the end, she did not hang herself at all. Right. So the place where she hung herself didn't exist, and she didn't actually hang herself. So there you go. But that took me literally like an hour to find out. And that's because I went down there and talked to them, and they let me look in all the records to clear up all the really bad history that was televised. So it doesn't take that long all the time. Sometimes, you can get away with researching a place for an hour, and you come up with a lot of information, especially when it's already done for you. And with the case with the fort, they already had the records there.
Right.
It was just there. All you had to do was sit down and read them. So, I mean, that just showed me how lazy the production crew was, because they couldn't even do that. But then other times, it takes months or years to get records. And I'm constantly, Ancestry, what we talked about, I'm constantly printing out records. I'm getting records. I buy books. If I see anything referenced where it's like, oh, this document, the only place we've ever seen a picture of this was in this book. Well, shit. I go on Amazon or eBay, usually eBay, and find like an original copy, and I buy it just so I can see what the original records say. Because even with books, and you see stories that were taken from books that are put online, and then another ghost hunting site copy and paste that, and another ghost hunting site embellishes that a little bit, and then the further you go down the line, the story changes.
Sure.
And you have to go to the source, and once you find the source, you're like, holy shit, it didn't happen anywhere near what the modern story is.
Right. So. And I always think about that of the stuff that you did about the Conjuring house.
Yes.
Because people still
do that. They still tell the false stories. And that bothers me so much because I mean it's all right there. And I mean do I have it? Do I have it here? I have a copy. There's a famous book. It's more like a booklet called The Black Book of Burrowville. And it's referenced a lot. Either in like the TV shows that have gone there since it's become available for anyone to ghost hunt in. The stories told by them reference this book. The books by Adrienne Perrin reference it a lot. And I have a copy of it.
I was going to ask you, did you talk to her?
I did talk to her a little bit. I read her books. I'll leave it at that. Because they sucked. I like when books are linear. There's a timeline. These books jumped around way too much. Back and forth. And there was a lot of misinformation in them, especially the first volume. But I did talk to her at White Hill Mansion. I talked to her a little bit, but not specifically about this because I was still in the process of reading her books and wanted to make sure I got all the information first. So from there, I went up to the area. I actually went up. I tried to get permission to visit the house, but they wouldn't respond to me. But I met up with a retired journalist and the former owner of the house. Mm-hmm. We met up at the local library where this book is kept, and I got permission to copy the book, and it lists all the unusual deaths in the area. So whenever they had like a hanging or a shooting or a drowning or anything that was not a natural death, a local historian actually recorded it. And that's the book. And so I have a copy of it. And all the stories actually pulled from this book. So anytime there was the family name, oh my God, I'm having a brain fart with the name, the farm,
I don't know the farm. Oh,
the
that's what everybody. There's some people that call it that. They don't call it the Conjuring house.
Arnold Farm. That's what it was because Susan Arnold, and then there were a bunch of Arnolds. So Arnold was the big name, and I think a few people looked through this Black Book of Burrowville, and anytime they saw a family name of Arnold, they were like, "Oh shit! Look, this person died in the house," and they didn't realize that the Arnold surname was a very popular name, and there's Arnolds all over the place up in that area. But it wasn't the same family, and none of them actually lived in the house.
I remember you saying that, and it's just interesting that people still
go with it. They still stick with the original stories, and especially, I mean, like we're talking about like people that can't defend themselves. Bathsheba Sherman, oh my God, that poor
I remember you saying like
soul. If she can rest, I hope she can. But people have butchered her reputation so bad. Needlessly. This gets me worked up. Damn.
What?
This gets me worked up.
I know. Well, it's interesting because I was supposed to go there, but I couldn't. And and I remember asking the girls if anything happened, and they said, nothing really happened.
I would still like to go up. I mean,
Me too. I would too.
What's really funny is in like that's interesting kind of way, is that I was contacted by both Keith and Carl Johnson about this. They both read my article and they actually loved it, and they offered me a whole bunch of information, behind the scenes information. That unfortunately,
Carl was there with Ed and Lorraine or something.
Both of them. Well, both of them were there initially, and then something. I guess they were like when they were that age, they were like opposites. One was big into like angels and stuff, or the religious side, and the other brother was more into like the hard rock kind of gothic look. So I don't think the family liked the gothic look.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's a lot of details that are a little fuzzy,
Mm-hmm.
depending on who you talk to. There's different versions, and there's always going to be stuff like that.
Always, yeah, for sure.
But it's just, I think it's just a story that developed and evolved over time. But
as with any story, I mean, like you do that experiment in school where you have like the 20 students sitting in a row
down the lane.
The whisper down the lane, and by the time he gets to the end, it's like nothing what the person said up here, you know?
Yeah.
So for sure.
And then there's embellishments, and then you have to factor in, okay, I if somebody wants to sell a book or a story,
once money gets involved,
things get embellished or exaggerated and shit like that. I mean, one of the big questions with the Conjuring house was that the mother apparently had a notebook that she kept all these notes in, all her research, all the research she did, which pinpointed all these people that allegedly died in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then she gave it to Ed and Lorraine Warren, who promised to give it back and never did. That's the story. But no one's ever seen this book.
And I'm sure if it existed,
it would actually help explain a lot.
Right.
Because for one, it would tell us where she got all her research information from. We could actually compare it, because I mean, I've looked for records that the Perron family claim that they had, but they don't exist.
Right.
And that's not just me. Again, I was working with a retired journalist who had a lot of pull with the historical societies in the area, and he's like, nope, there ain't no records. All these records they mentioned do not exist. So lots of, I mean, and that's what you get into, and that's what sucks me in. I mean, I really get interested. This was a great story. It burned me out after I was done. But
I say this lovingly.
Go ahead.
Or I ask this lovingly. Because I love you. You know this.
Oh, here it comes.
But
here it comes.
But you're busting people's bubbles, right? Yeah. So like, I mean, are you ever hesitant to tell somebody like, okay, this is what I found out, and what you think or feel or the experience you had, really wasn't anything.
So yeah. And again, it goes back to, there's certain times where I'll speak up. One is when you ask me.
Right.
If you ask for my opinion, you're going to get it. So be ready. Put your seatbelt on and just be ready. But also, if I think that you're promoting or spreading information that might be harmful to other people, then yes, I will definitely speak up and shut that shit down, because I don't like when people get hurt.
Sure.
But in other times, like also with like panel discussions, or if I'm on a show and we're just talking about stuff, yes, I'll definitely offer my opinion. But one of the few times where I won't bust a bubble, so to speak, is when an experience gives someone comfort. And that's usually in the form of, my sibling, my mother or my father passed away, and I, like, a few nights later, I swear I felt their presence, and this and that. I think I heard them, and that. They're not promoting like, oh, this is absolutely true, and you can scientifically prove it, and all this. They had an experience where they interpreted that it was something nice, and it brought them comfort. It brought them closure. Why? There's no reason for me to speak up. There's no reason to say, no, then you were hallucinating. There's no reason, because there would be no progress. There would be there's nothing good that comes from that.
Right.
I'm happy that they're happy. Really. Right. And if that makes them feel good, fuck yeah. Go with it. But if they turn around and would start using that story to say, this is absolutely true, I can prove it 100%, you all need to believe this. Now watch my TV show, watch this. Now you've taken a good thing and you just sustained it, and now you're trying to make money off of it and this and that. So, but yeah.
I agree with you 1,000%.
if you have a personal experience and it makes you feel good, then yeah, there's no reason to burst your bubble.
Right.
That's just, I think that should be just common sense. I think that's just
absolutely.
It
is tough. You have to kind of, I get videos or pictures and stuff, and it's like you have to think about how you word things.
Right. And it's much easier. Like, you'll see me sometimes if we're talking face to face. Sometimes if I start looking around, I'm not looking for a way out, because sometimes that some people take that as an indicator of, oh, you got caught in a lie and you're trying to find a way out. No, I'm trying to figure out a nice way to say what I want to say. It's much easier when I get into a keyboard warrior kind of thing where I'm hiding behind a keyboard. Not really, because I never hide behind a keyboard. I'll meet anyone that I talk to through text. But if I type stuff and I'm responding to somebody, or if I'm making a comment, sometimes it takes me a while because I'm going through, I'm typing it, and my initial draft, even a Facebook post, I do an initial draft and I'm like, all right, does that look, is that too mean? Am I a dick? Am I being a dick there? I don't want to.
You don't do that. You don't do that when you're commenting on the Brews when I'm on here.
Oh, that's because I'm just joking with you people. Oh my goodness!
Oh, I think you there. I had a guest on. I don't know when he was on.
Mr. Glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I got a story about him. I got to tell you later.
But you refrained.
I did. And that's one of the cases where this is your show. You have your guest. You have your show format, your style. This is how you do things. And you had a guest on. I'm not going to be that guy that's in the comments going, this guy's an asshole, whatever. There's no need for that, because I'm just spoiling it. There's no need for it. But afterwards, I'll certainly send you a message and be like, hey, this motherfucker, I'm going to tell you about him, or if I see it come up beforehand, like there was a friend of mine doing a show not too long ago, and they advertised the guest. And the guest was a Stolen Valor guy. And I immediately reached out to him and said, this is a bad idea. It's your show. You do what you want, but this is why I think it's a bad idea. Because I saw it. And if I saw it, I know other people that have worked on that case will see it. And you will have a terrible show. I guarantee it, because people will come in and comment and ask questions. Hard questions that person will not be able to answer, or will not answer, or will lie, and then it'll be worse. So,
right.
But yeah, I mean, it's there's a time to be direct and a time to restrain yourself, and I've been direct. You've seen it. Plenty of people, I'm sure, have seen it. I can be pretty direct when it needs to be.
It's kind of funny.
But that's not always the case. Most of the time I do not like to fight or argue. Hey, Athena. I'd rather have a conversation.
Yeah, for sure. But you can only have that if, the other side of that is willing to have that conversation. I mean, which is why you probably get like 90% of the hate mail that you get, because, people are just, even if they do ask you. Now, if I was going to ask you a question.
That's when I get snippy sometimes. Like, sometimes I'll get an email that says, hey, what do you think about this?
Right.
Like, all right, I'll take the time. And again, it might take me an hour to look into some details, get back to you and say, all right, this is what I found. And then a reply that says, well, you don't know what you're fucking doing. I know it's this, and I'm going to go somewhere else. Thanks for your time. Have a great day, jackass, or something like that. And I've got emails like that. And it pisses me off, because not because they didn't believe me, but or at least take what I said.
Because you wasted your time.
Exactly, I wasted time on this.
Right.
I don't sit around and do nothing all day.
Right.
If I'm not working my day job, I'm working on this kind of stuff. I'm constantly working on either podcasts, researching guests, researching topics. for the next podcast, researching the articles that I have, because there's always, I mean, there is never a time where I don't have at least like 4 or 5 articles that are in the works, various stages of investigation or completion. And I don't want to sound like conceited, but I'm doing you a favor.
Right.
And I'm not getting anything out of it. I'm doing it because I like to do it. I'm trying to be helpful. And, if you waste my time, well, you're on the list, bitch. I'm putting you on that list. So if you email again, you go, and I do have that set. Like, that's a rule. And I have a folder on my email account. So somebody that does that, they go into that folder.
Good thing I'm not in that folder.
No.
I am not in that folder. I always take whatever advice you give me. I always, I'm like, okay, makes sense to me. If there's a way for you to make sense of it, for me, but if there's a way and it makes sense to me and, then I'm good with that. You know what I mean? If I go to you for something, I'm going to you for a reason. So whatever your response is, I use that into whatever conclusion that I feel in my heart, whatever is, I put whatever together.
Right. And even just thank you for your time. I appreciate it. That's 10 times, 1,000 times better than whatever, jackass. Or don't respond to me at all.
Right. And even though we're friends, though, like I'm like, thank you so much because I feel bad bothering you with it. I feel so bad bothering you with it. I'm like, he probably gets these all day long, but I'm like, I'm just going to ask him.
I don't really see, it's not bothering unless I get a second response that's like that. That's me.
Right.
Just then it's a waste of time. Then it's bothering me because like that's an hour wasted that I could have been working on this or that, but it's never, I enjoy it. I get it. I like the fact that I can contribute like that. Where it's like, okay, somebody has a problem, they're not sure how to look into it, and that my name comes up in their head. I think that's great. That's awesome. It makes me feel good because I had some kind of impact, and I really appreciate it. So
yeah, and I mean, and I'll just say everything that I share with you, I get permission from the people first. I'm like, look, I have a friend. He is. And I let them know. I'm like, he writes for something called the Skeptical Inquirer. I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at. And he's very technical and he's done a lot of research. Do you care if I share it just to get his opinion? Nope. Go ahead. So the second they say yes, then that's when I ask you your opinion.
And that's great. That's a good practice. Yeah.
Yeah. And first of all, because I mean, there's a couple of things that I have sent you that I didn't think was anything, but I wanted to be able to have an answer for them. And I tell them that I want to share this with my friend so that, I can get a better look at it from a different perspective. And I can have an answer for you, and, I want to be able to explain it,
And I do that too. I mean, I'm still, because I love photography. I have a background in photography, so I can answer a lot of questions. I can figure things out. Sometimes I have to experiment, but there are several people, not just photographers, but other people in other fields that I can reach out to. And I do that all the time. I mean, I try to make that clear sometimes because it's like, I don't know everything. And that's even one of my rules in my Friday night show is that I don't know everything. I have to look up stuff or I have to consult others. Like, even though if we have a conversation, like we've had a conversation tonight, and I can supply a lot of information about a certain topic, that means I've done a lot of work on that topic. But you could ask me a curveball question where I'm like, I don't fucking know what that is. I don't know. I have to look it up.
Right.
And I'll do that. I'll email somebody. I'll call somebody. I'm lucky enough to have a lot of contacts that are in the academic field and medical field where I can say, hey, tell me about this. Can you give me some pointers?
That's part of your research. I mean, it's research.
That's it. I don't know. I'm not an expert in anything. I know a little bit about a lot of things, but I can always learn more. And that's what I keep doing.
But but who really is an expert? You know what I mean? Like
that's an interesting conversation. I'm actually going to have not this week, but next week I'm going to have a nice lady from Australia. Well, she's in England now, but Beth Darlington. She did a blog post about what makes an expert, and I'm gonna have her on my show, and we're gonna talk about that. And because expert is a tricky term sometimes, because
especially in this field, because I mean,
there's an argument, and I don't know how long your show is, because I'll stay up all night talking to you. Okay, so experts in this hobby, and I'm sorry, but I refuse to call it a field, but this hobby, this thing that we all do, experts, there are experts, but it's how you define the expert. You can't say, oh, well, he's an expert in the paranormal, because what the fuck is the paranormal?
Right.
That's a blanket term.
It's a label. I think everything is a label. We as humans have to have a label for everything. Right.
But there are experts when you talk about, like, oh, there's electricians. That's an expert. There's an experienced electrician that's been doing it for 20 years, that knows what he does. He does household, he does businesses, he's worked.
That is a tangible, learnable,
it's educational a field of study. It's a profession, and he knows his shit. If you have a physicist that comes in, academically trained physicist,
right?
She knows her shit. She's an expert in that field.
Sure.
So you talk to these people. So you have carpenters, you have electricians, you have photographers, videos, craftsmen, you have special effects people, you have rabbis, priests, you have biologists, chemists, you have all these people that do these professions. And it's like, oh, what'd you say? It's always good to get other opinions, and I like any opinion. Thank you. I appreciate that, Athenia.
And then she said, oh, well,
this is a
good topic.
God, I need a haircut. But it's really, really good to get these opinions. And these are experts. These are what I consider experts. And it's just, you can go to them, you can get a wealth of information from them, because that's what they do all the time. That's what they do. Usually it's their job. So you can tap their brain and say, tell me about this. What is this? Explain this. I do this all the time.
It sounds like like the skeptical expert that I always go to.
See, I've never considered myself an expert. I don't.
But who else is what, when you, like, I don't believe in the term expert in this field. I will use the word field, Kenny. So in this field, AKA hobby to Kenny, I don't believe in any expert, because I do think a lot of it has to do with belief, your belief system and how you were raised. And like, for me, but with you do research, you find facts.
And even
it's education, and it's, learning. And for me, like the stuff that you do. So yes, being a skeptic, there isn't anybody else that I know of that does this much research, investigating, writing, getting it out there, all this stuff. So for me, yes, you are an expert as far as being able to be able to figure it out. I don't know what else, how else to explain.
I would say that expert. Yeah, it's a term because there's a lot of baggage that comes with that. So I would say that I do have expertise in solving mysteries, or researching mysteries and figuring out things. And that comes from a lot of background. I have a background in automotive, aerospace, medical field. I have backgrounds in all this, and all of it is about diagnosis and figuring out what's wrong and fixing it. Figuring out what the problem is.
And all that stuff. And all that stuff is
that's my life.
Tangible, educational, textbook, research, learning, and whatever. Whereas
you can also have a folklorist. You have someone that's really, I mean, you can actually get a degree in folklore, but you have people that are familiar with the stories. You could have someone that's lived at it or worked at a historic site and is a history buff and is an expert or has expertise in the history of a location. So,
right. Historian.
There's a lot of experts that are available. But when you say, if someone says I'm a paranormal expert, you gotta question it. You gotta lead up with like, expert in what?
Right.
Like, don't tell me you're an expert in the paranormal. That you're a paranormal expert that's an expert in the paranormal. That's bullshit.
I mean, it just isn't. It's an oxymoron. You can't, because it's really belief. Like, I mean, it's interpretation. It's belief. It's things that aren't.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's all that though, because when you're talking about the technical side, I mean, the basis, the core. When we're talking about ghosts and spirits and stuff, yes, the core is the belief system of the individual, and that varies. That varies everyone, person to person.
Oh yeah.
But the methodology, the gadgets that might be involved, how people collect evidence, and that's a whole nother show that we totally get into. But how those things, they do have their own experts. They have their fields of study. Unfortunately, most of the community doesn't acknowledge that. They just do whatever the fuck they want. And that's the big problem. A really big problem. So yeah, and I think that's where it comes from, that the term paranormal expert comes from. It's, I've been ghost hunting for 20 plus years, or the bullshit thing when they say, our team has a combined experience of 120 years. No, you fucking don't. Altogether, you still only have 20 years.
Right.
It's not, you don't add them all together. That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. I unfriend you. No, that's not how it works. But you just because you have a whole bunch of gadgets, and unfortunately the majority is that they probably use them wrong, or you've been to a whole bunch of locations and did ghost hunts at different historic places, doesn't mean you're a paranormal expert. That's a dumb term. It really is.
It's an oxymoron. Like, I don't know how somebody can be that, because
by definition, you can't be an expert in something that's not known.
Right. It's unknown. And that's always how I tell that to everybody. Like when we go to private homes and stuff, I try to just, because, most of those people only know what they see on TV, and they don't realize that it's TV.
Yeah.
Right. So what they're seeing, which is one of the reasons why I started the Brew, because of people are watching TV and everything's a demon, everything's negative, everything's trying to kill them, and they just automatically think that there's these evil spirits or demons in their houses, and they're getting all, or there's some 14-year-old watching that and seeing Zach Baggins go into somewhere and saying, "Oh yeah, come out and kill me," and they're gonna run around and just start doing it,
Yeah.
But when I go and I say to them, I'm like, listen, what you see on TV, it is not, how things are. And the first thing they say is, "Really?" I'm like, "Really?"
Nope. Nope.
I say, a lot, that, and that's one of the things that I don't even know where the fuck I was going with that. You said something, and I was like, I had this taken effect. You had this good. You made me have this good point in my head. I go
always need a notepad. I keep this Post-it notepad here all the time. So if every time I do a show and there's a guest on, or if the other show I do, the two co-hosts, if they say something, I'm like, write it down. And then I just bullet point. And as soon as I'm done, because I want to pay attention to what they're saying, As soon as they're done, I'm like, oh, let me go back to, I had this note. Let me go back here.
And that's what happened. Like I started listening and then I was like, wait a minute. I have this good point.
You lost it.
I totally did. It so sucks because it was good. Hate myself sometimes. But it was definitely about private houses and talk and with people. But that's what I said. I'm like, naturally as humans, most people are afraid of the unknown. So if we did not know what ants were, and you're in your kitchen and an ant goes crawling across your floor, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck is that?" You know, like, you're gonna freak out. You know, if you don't know what it is, and you see this thing going across your floor, you know. So it's you're just at the moment you're just trying to like just ease the excitement of whatever's the energy inside that house is just like because they think something's trying to kill them. It's just like you're like, no, calm down. Like just figure this out. It could be this, it could be that, it could be this.
Right.
Have you had an electrician out? Have you had this out? Have you done, and then you start telling them, that they're, and that no. Well, there could be so many things that are contributing to this. Have you done this? Have you done that? And then that you can see just the ease happening, like, oh, okay. Because they're so wrapped up in this that they don't stop to just, maybe this could be the reasoning for this,
right.
I
think I like Athena's question there. I think she asked almost the same thing with two posts at the end there. About even though in its essence unknown, there you go, can a topic paranormal still be considered subject matter? So I think this is a tough question because it's when we say unknown, it's because it's generally unknown and
because you're not going to know,
and it's a lot of it's made up. It's guesswork.
There's a lot made up.
So,
and that's what sucks because people that wouldn't make shit up, are really trying to research.
If you compare it to like chemistry, so chemistry is a wide blanket term, and it covers an entire field of study. It's a subject matter, chemistry, or even geology. I mean, it's a subject matter, but there's actual things to study. There's actual things to pull data from. That can be taught, that can be absorbed, that can be repeated, that can be experimented, and then see the results again and again. There's tests that we can do. When it comes to paranormal, it's a free-for-all. It's pretty much what everybody wants to do or how they want to do it. Because you often, I'm sure you've probably heard the phrase, everybody has their own way, or, there is no right way to investigate the paranormal.
However,
I disagree because I think there is, but
there are ways. Like for me, like and again, it's my belief. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and see that's a good example because it's all based. Oh, I don't believe that. I don't believe this. I believe this. I believe that.
Well, like I was with one group who, wanted, if we went into a private house, it's like just do whatever you normally would do. We want it as normal as possible, right? But would not allow the clients to investigate because we were worried about anything that would happen, whatever. Then I worked with another group who included the family in the investigation. And I just didn't feel comfortable with that. I don't know why. I just didn't. I just didn't think.
Right.
I just didn't think it was right, So for me, I would not agree with that type of investigation, so
yeah, I would see. I think the way I investigate is much different than your typical ghost hunting team. I don't investigate just to investigate. You have to have specific claims that are testable. You have to be able to test something. I have to be able to go in and look for something specific, not, hey, this place is haunted. Okay. Why? Why do you think that? So if you're going in with a certain set of rules, certain idea of what you're doing, then you have a plan of attack, and I can actually test for certain things. But if somebody else is coming in and say, well, I'm going to do it this way, and somebody else comes in and says, I'm going to do it this way, and everybody's getting different results because they're based on different beliefs, then it's chaos. It becomes chaos. There's no right way to do it because nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. But yeah, there is a right way to do things, I think, depending on the claim. Like for the example that you gave, if the homeowners had anything to do with the claim, I would want them there. If it only happens when a certain person is in the room, then obviously you want that person there because for some reason it's triggered, the experience or event is triggered by that person. Let's find out why. Is it something, supernatural, or are they responsible for it?
Right.
Let's put them in the room. And one of the things I would do would put them in the room by themselves with cameras that they didn't know about.
Right.
And
you would have to.
Right. But if they have nothing to do with it, if it's like they just hear a bang in the back bedroom and it's like it's only a couple that lives there and they're in the front bedroom, they hear this bang, then they really don't have anything to do with it.
Right.
Then you don't need them as part of the experiment. But on the flip side of that, there's other things to consider too. If you're in a private residence, I would never ever send the owners out. I would never be there.
No. We've never been there without them.
That's why they
just are either just just there, but being quiet or whatever.
Yeah.
But even that, to me, how do you have control of the environment?
You have control because you know where they are. You
know where they are.
You have to make that clear. You have to make that clear, and control of the environment is much more intense than what you might consider it. Control of the environment would mean you have to have control of every variable possible, which not only just means the people there, but the temperature, the sound.
Oh yeah, I know.
And what the power going into the house, the plumbing going into the house, phone line, everything. You need everything. But when you know where them people are, and that would be something I made clear if I go into a home, which I really don't like to, and that's a different discussion. But it's more or less, hey, if I come in here and do this, when I look into these claims that you're making, you need to listen to me. I know this is your house. 1,000%. This is your house, and I want you there because I don't want anybody saying later like I damaged something or I stole something or whatever. So they have to be there.
Yeah.
But look, we're going to do it. This is the way we're going to do it. If you deviate from it, you get one chance. If you deviate again from it, I'm done. I'm leaving because you're wasting my time.
100%. I agree. That's for me. I mean, and maybe because of my experience the first time, is left a bad taste in my mouth, but there was literally,
what were you doing?
an 8-year-old with us. There's an 8-year-old with us, and somebody in that was
as part of the team.
No, the family member.
Okay.
So it was an 8-year-old, a mother. Her best friend that lived across the street. They were drinking wine and hanging out, and just going around with us. And the person that was running the investigation, we were in the room and said, something about finding somebody's name on a wall or something like that. And the little girl just started freaking out, crying, saying like, I thought you said that was in the other room. So like the name that he said that was in the wall was supposedly what was haunting the house. And the little girl didn't think it was in her room, but he said it in her room, and she freaked out, started crying, and I'm like,
okay.
Oh my God, this is horrible. I was like, this is like I'm like, this is like the worst scenario that could possibly happen right now.
Yeah.
So it was it was just not a good experience. So from there on out, I was just like, I can't do it. I mean, I agree with you, but that's why I am. If I go to a private house, I'm like, I don't want you to leave. I want everybody just do what you're doing.
Yeah.
Do whatever you do. You don't be in the room with us wherever we're at, but I want you just to go about business, because like what you said, they don't know me. If there is something going on there, the people that live there are claim to be experiencing things that are happening. They're happening to them. So I don't want them out of their element or out of the house.
It depends on the experiences.
Right.
It may not be happening to them.
Right.
They are just in the area or earshot or
near
enough the experience or the event that they experience it.
Right.
And that's a distinction that has to be made too, because then, because sometimes it sounds much worse. This is happening to them. It sounds so much worse than something weird happens in the house. We don't know what it is. Because then it's like, oh, are they in danger? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's, I wouldn't actually let anyone do what you normally do. Because you want to keep track of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's important. But again, it really comes back to what the claim is.
Right.
What the claims are.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they're saying, the example that I always use is if somebody claims that at 3 a.m. they hear footsteps coming down the main staircase, then that's where we need to be.
At 3 a.m.
At 3 a.m. We don't need to be there at 7 o'clock.
Right.
We don't need to be there during the day, or we don't need to be in the back room or, in the kitchen. We need to be at the main stairway at 3 a.m. We need to be there at 2:30, really.
Right.
And sit there and wait.
Sure.
And look, we also need to be there a little early to see what that stairway is connected to. Is it on the side of the house and it's connected to another house? Are they sharing the structure? Because that's important. I've come across that a lot, where people.
I find it very difficult to do investigations in apartments and, townhouses, and it's just so difficult. I tried it twice, and there's just no way to know.
Yeah, when you have weird noises and stuff, if you have people, on either side of you and above you and below you, no, there's no control whatsoever.
And at which point, I sat down with the client. I'm like, listen. I can appreciate what you feel and you think is happening. But, I think you have to take into consideration your environment, a lot of the time, you know what I mean? So there's a certain way you have to choose your, because these people are coming to you like, this is what's happening.
And they're scared. Yeah.
So
go ahead.
And explain, and you have to have a logical reason and bring them back down for a minute. Just bring them back down so they can see that, oh, you know what? Yeah, there is a guy that smokes outside every day at 10:30, so that's why I'm smelling the cigarette smoke. Let me look out the window and I see him. You know what I mean, or something. Just to, and the more you get those little things, you chip away at those little things, then
Yeah. If you can chip away a little by little, it's you almost lead by example. If we can talk, have a conversation, and I can solve that mystery. I can solve that mystery. We go A, B, and C, and D. And then you see the wheels start turning where they're like, oh, you know what? We did figure it out, with little out of the box thinking. I didn't think of that before. Maybe, oh, you know what? There's this other thing that happens. And now that I think of it, now the client, the homeowner, they start trying to apply a lot more logic and a lot more critical thinking to the experiences, and they start solving the mysteries themselves, which is great, because if you can get them to do it, that's better than anything that I will say to them.
Oh yeah, no, I honestly, like, in the last 5 private cases that came my way, there wasn't one investigation. It was solved and they were helped. And I still keep in touch. I'll text them every once in a while and say, how are things going? Everything. And one case involved 3 little girls that were like for the ages of like 3 to 7. You know what I mean? And no investigation was done. We went in there, we talked to them, we listened to them, and half of the time that's part of it.
that's still, see, to me, that's still part of the investigation.
Oh yeah.
But you're solving it. And I think that's the beauty of it, because that's the point. And I think so many groups forget this is the point. If you're going to call yourself an investigator, your point is your purpose is to investigate and solve the mystery to a conclusion. And if you can do that, awesome. I don't like when people go in and say they investigate and they just come out with all the evidence they knew they were going to get.
Right.
And they didn't solve any mysteries.
Yeah. I will only, and we do still, we'll say, it's almost an art where you have to kind of, you have to delicately talk to people when they're on this level, right? So,
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yes, and you have to kind of just reel them into where they're just going to listen to what you say, and and I mean,
this is a skill. This is very much a skill that's learned.
Yes, and I still will say, listen, if you want us to investigate, we will. However, but and they'll be like, you know what? No, we'll let you know. We feel very comfortable with where we're at right now. And that makes me feel good. Not ending in an investigation makes me feel like I have accomplished something.
Yeah.
When it comes to private houses, like the historical things, they're fun to me. They're just fun little things, you know what I mean? But when it comes to a private house and there's people that have to live in these houses because the mind is a very powerful thing, you know what I mean? So you have to really, really take care of private houses. I mean, it really is it's very delicate, but when it does not end up in an investigation, I'm like, we did our job. I did my job. Like, I did what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
In my eyes.
I do that so much just right from here. Don't have to go out. Send me your pictures. I get videos, whatever, and I can look at them, analyze them, and then say, look, this is what I see. Or, hey, can you take a picture of this? Or take a picture from a different angle of that room and let me see that. Send me pictures before and after, and I can solve it. And maybe in an hour or two, or maybe a day, I can get back to them and say, you know what? I'm pretty sure it's this. If you recreate it, do this again, let me know the results. And 9 times out of 10, it's, wow. All right, that was it. We figured it out. Thank you. And that's good. I'm happy. Hey, Kat. Kat Ward. Oh, I miss her. She works. Her hours take her away from my show now, and I hate it because I love seeing her.
Aw.
It's pretty much covers every aspect of structure. Steve Parsons, yeah, I like his stuff. Dun, dun. Yeah. This has been fun.
Yeah, it has been.
We've been on for a while. 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Damn.
There's always a good convo with you.
I try. It's good when it works. It has to be 2 ways. So.
Wait, I have an announcement though. Ron messaged me.
Who? Oh, wait, the guy you were supposed to have on?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So this might be my fault. This might be my fault. This might be my fault. So I don't know if you can see it, but he said,
you have to point it at the camera. There you go. Did you want to do it? Or, we are actually scheduled for tomorrow.
Listen, here's the thing. If you look
You've done that to me.
Wait, if you look at the event that I created, right? It actually says that me and him have been live since like February 18th. I can't change it. Yeah, I don't know. It's like February 18th, 7:30 to today, 8:30. Like, I don't even know what's happening.
You need to start putting in your calendar exactly like I've done that.
It wouldn't be my show if it went smooth. If it went smooth, I would think something was going on. I'd be like, you know what? This is
hopefully it turned out okay tonight.
Oh my God, no, this was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed every second of the show tonight.
Good.
For sure. So I thank you so much for
You're welcome.
your time.
Anytime. I mean, I don't mind popping on, especially when you don't have anything and just going. I like this. I mean, this is basically what my show is like. Casual conversation. When guests come on, I do a little bit of research on them, just because it's nice to know who I'm talking to.
Sure.
And have questions just in case. But I do a Q&A show, so it's mostly left up to the viewers. You know,
right.
I leave it up to them to ask questions and get into topics. So it's always nice when that happens. And sure. Sometimes it's only been an hour show. Usually when it's just me.
Aww.
I will. I'll tell everybody that you stop by and you miss them. I miss you too. Change your job. Get a new job. No, I'm kidding. It's good to see her.
Yeah.
She actually, Kat, you won the contest, right? I believe. I think we had a contest because Saturday I do a show called 3 Tortured Souls, and we had a opening theme that Dave Schumacher, one of the hosts, did. He wrote and did himself, but it was he disguised his voice and did a whole robotic kind of thing. And we had a contest.
It was like masked, it was like masked skeptic.
Masked skeptic.
What did he say?
Oh, he sang he was it was
that's like masked singer.
He's the what? Oh, I don't know who that is.
You don't.
Okay, that show.
Yeah.
So, I guess the contest was to figure out what was being said.
Oh.
So it wasn't like who was it. It was who was saying it or what was being said.
Okay.
And it took weeks and weeks and weeks, and Kat finally got everything.
It took it for freaking ages.
Yeah. So, and then we went and changed the song. But yeah, that she's fun. It's nice. I like that. I like that you have a nice little community. People keep popping in. It's nice when you do a show and you have regulars come in.
Oh my God, I love that. That's the thing. Like when I was on the warehouse, and I was thankful for that time that I was on there. You know what I mean? It was pretty cool. But what I did not like was that the people that normally would be there weren't there. I didn't know who these people were. And for me, the type of person I am, where I'm not doing this because I want to get on a TV show, or I'm not doing this because I want to be popular. You know what I mean? I do this because this is what I love doing. And I love talking to the people that I talk to. You know what I mean? Right. So now that I'm back on the Brew and everybody that I love and is here in my circle, you know what I mean? Like, no, right. This is what I need. Right. This is what I need. That's so right. Yeah,
it's fun. Yeah. And then you know who you're talking with, your audience, and you can really have fun with it.
Yeah.
So cool. All right. I need to get out of here.
Yes.
Because
so I guess I'll be on again tomorrow night. Now that I'm learning.
You need a calendar.
You need a calendar. Guy. Tomorrow is my Bigfoot guy.
Tomorrow you talk about Bigfoot.
Yeah, tomorrow we're going to talk about Bigfoot.
Cool.
So I didn't know that. But I appreciate your time, and I love you for coming on, and I love everything you do. So thank you so much.
You're totally welcome. Thank you for talking with me, and this was nice.
And thank you everybody for joining us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Take it easy, everyone that popped in and out.
Absolutely.
Have fun.
I'll see you soon.
Okay.
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 Oh, we will. What? Love you. Hey,
wait, you gotta stay on afterwards. Once you don't go live, you gotta stay on because I gotta tell you a story.
Okay. Tell Donna I love her.
I will.
Okay. All right. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.